You introduce us.
Yeah, I'll introduce. Welcome, episode 38, B-Tech Philosophers with me, comedian Elliot Still, and my co-host,
Michael the Wale.
And we got a very special guest in today, Owen Flanagan, back from ADCC, European champion, one of the best grapplers in the world. I don't know why you're on this podcast.
I don't know.
Round of applause for Owen Flanagan.
Tuesday, like midday, evening, afternoon. I don't have anything going on really. So,
Yeah.
So you're one of the best in the world in your field.
I'm ranked number 5 in my weight category though.
In the world.
In the world, yeah. I think that's probably a nice ranking that they give me.
That's big.
Yeah, it's good. They might have overranked me. I'm not sure. I haven't sparred with the rest of them.
Don't say that. Don't say it.
Yeah, we don't know. But yeah, it's still pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'll take it.
Yeah, I wish there was like a ranking in comedy so you could see
Oh
what you were.
gosh. Mine's falling rapidly.
I think you'd be so pissed off when you see like a few of the people that would be above you.
I'm in the relegation zone right now. I think I need Big Sam to come in, but damn, like number 5 in the world, man. That's crazy.
Nah, for my weight though. So
For your
there's like
so
5 weights.
what weight are you?
Under 88 kilos.
Okay.
So yeah, that's like there's like 5 weights that go up 11 kilos each, down to 66 and like over 100. So you never know. Like some divisions are like, for example, if I did the 77 division, I don't think it would have gone well because they're good.
So I don't know a lot about fighting. So a lot of my questions are going to be about the basics.
Yeah.
What is grappling, and what is jiu-jitsu?
Basically submissions, right?
Second one is kind of a joke.
Okay.
But it's not. It's not.
I cannot believe when you said before this point, don't worry, I got some jiu-jitsu based questions. I thought they were going to be basic, but I didn't understand they were going to be literally what
Deep question.
what is it you do?
Let me preface it for the listeners who don't understand. This is for the begin. I know. I'm just for the listeners who don't know.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah. So grappling, like, what's your journey into this?
As in, how did I start?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I started with judo when I was a child.
How young?
Yeah, judo is like you wear the gi and you try and basically throw people onto their back, like flat on their back. And then I stopped that for a little bit. I discovered the internet. I played RuneScape for like 2 years straight.
It's killed many a career, many a film.
I'm lucky I got out at the time I did.
Where were you ranked in the world at RuneScape, do you reckon?
It was not a good ranking. I would say I was shit. Like looking back at it, I wasted a lot of time on something I was actually shit at.
Did you have membership?
Yeah, I had membership.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
I was lucky, man. I almost got into World of Warcraft, but I escaped that life, man.
I didn't know.
Got into drugs instead, so it's better, it's better, man.
Exactly.
Better, man.
Less likely to end up on the street.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I came back trying to do judo again, and then there was just jiu-jitsu instead in the sports center, and yeah, did that.
And then you asked, what is jiu-jitsu?
No, I didn't ask though. I just
Yeah, you-
I was like, can we do throws? Can we do throws? And then yeah, so you basically jiu-jitsu, you try and take people down, like control them, and then submit them. That's the idea, and you don't punch or kick them whilst you're doing it. So,
Did you take to it kind of like water pretty quickly? You like, I like this shit.
Yeah, because I did judo before and it's pretty similar. So yeah, when I did it, bear in mind, I was like 52 kilos and all the people in the room were like massive, like they weren't good necessarily at jiu-jitsu, but they were all like hench as fuck. So it was hard when I started. I was just getting crushed and then yeah, it got better as time went on.
One of the things for me about fighting, right, is why I don't do it. I guess it's from a place of like, I'm always looking like, man, these people are so much ahead of me. I'm one of those people instead of thinking at the process. Are you, to be a fighter, do you have to be just fully focused on the process?
I feel like if it's MMA, you got to be like, as a child, you have to be fighting bears and or that's kind of out of reach for most people that haven't been fighting bears or whatever, done karate as a child or whatever. But if you want to just do good at jiu-jitsu, there are people that joined at like 26 who are like full careers off jiu-jitsu and they're just like
Thanks, man. Yeah, cheers. That's easy to mention me.
They're never going to get nowhere. But they make numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they can even get somewhere. There's one guy, Eddie Cummings, some jiu-jitsu guy anyway. He was 26 when he started and he was like doing physics or something in uni and then he became world champion, like in like one of the sort of belts, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
But that background in physics in some way, like I know it'll probably help because there will be the mental arithmetic of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you seen that video of this guy? He looked like just some ordinary guy worked in the office, but he's doing punches on the bag. and it's just like making the maddest noise, and he's doing like the maddest what's these ones called?
Hooks.
The hooks, yeah. I went to boxing for 2 years, so I should know what that's called. They really took my money, man. We just went there.
I swear you're doing.
Show you that one.
Your coach started texting you like, "Class not on today. I'm depressed."
Yeah, the coach.
What gym are you going to, bro?
Legit.
Yeah, coach is really casual, but like he was just ordinary looking office guy, and he's just throwing the maddest hooks, and you just like, oh right, like you really can't judge books by their cover.
In jiu-jitsu, yeah, you get that a lot. Like just normal looking guys. There's like even really small guys who are like fucking good and like all round. So it's not like, I don't know. It's weird. They don't even look like they do jiu-jitsu most of the time, and they're fucking good. Like it's the big beast guys with like loads of tattoos that are mostly shit.
Oh,
They just look it and they're not good. But normal looking guys who are like a bit lanky, they do well.
Because they tend to get underestimated, and then by the time they estimate them, it's too late.
Yeah, maybe that. But also just like the big guys, they're just not mobile, you know. They're not like, it's like you don't get big bodybuilders in boxing, but they think jiu-jitsu will go better, but it basically doesn't. It does a little bit better, I guess.
They probably, I'd guess, like they start out doing better, because if you're putting someone who's just massive with no experience against someone who's small with no experience, but then once that person learns a bit of technique,
which they will, because otherwise they'll just quit basically. So yeah.
And I just want to go back to the process a little bit. That's what I'm always fascinated by. So you're like we said, number 5 in the world.
Yeah.
So when you go into the gym, I guess every day, what is your mindset? Is it just I just want to get better every day, or I want to be number 1? Like because you're a professional.
I'm not that interested in. I'm not like that interested in being number 1. That's like, because you probably have to like. They're all on juice first of all, so
oh shit!
Yeah, it's not
exclusive. Beat Tech exclusive.
Not a testing sport. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be the exclusive people with some jiu-jitsu athletes are on gear.
Right.
This isn't going to be a hot take.
I feel like there's some people who aren't on juice that win, but for the most part, it's just juicy guys, and also like. I like enjoying myself outside of jiu-jitsu as well. So yeah, like doing all that kind of stuff doesn't necessarily help your jiu-jitsu career. I'll just do it because it's a better job than any other, in my opinion. So yeah, and then doing competitions is kind of necessary to get your name out and all that stuff. So it's all just out of necessity. I don't want to wake up early in the morning. Yeah. I want to wake up at like a reasonable time, like 9 to 10, and go to jiu-jitsu and train in the morning. And the training would be like either I try and do a new move that I'm working on, or like an overall plan of improving. So I'll basically like work on a set of moves and then do that for a little while, and then I'll change the set of moves, etc. And then and sometimes I'll just go in there, like if it's a competition, I'll just try and sub people as much as possible in like a 5-minute round.
Okay, so you're kind of like an Eden Hazard, Ronaldinho, just for the love of the game. Yeah, just, you know what I mean? You're not Ronaldo who's like, I need to get up, train, drink water, eat lean chicken. Yeah. You're just like, I love the game, baby.
Yeah, and I like eating. Only reason I'll go to the gym is just so you just get injured less, and it's easier. You can crush people more. Yeah.
But you run a gym as well?
No, I just teach at different gyms.
Oh, okay,
I teach at jiu-jitsu gyms, but as in go to the gym, do weights and stuff. I would only do that because I'm doing jiu-jitsu. Otherwise, that's dead.
What's it like?
No, go ahead.
And what's it like teaching other people? Do you find it frustrating at times? Like, because some people can't do what you can't do, and it's not always easy to teach people to do what you can do.
I would like most of the time it's not frustrating. I'll put it down to me if someone's not learning it. It's like, well, you just have to explain it in a way that people will understand. Most of the time as well, you just say shit in different ways, like exactly the same thing but in different ways. And people eventually be like, okay, you should have just said that. And I was like,
yeah, I've always liked training in your classes because let me say that I'm a fuck up spazzy white belt. Like I will ruin people's day by turning up to the gym.
What's white belt in the...
Like as beginner as you can be.
Okay.
Like, you know, and but I've trained at not just with jiu-jitsu, but like kickboxing things. I've trained at gyms that are culty. I've trained at gyms where, like, you know what I mean, where you've got to turn up and wear all our gear to come even step onto the mat and all that.
Fucking cult.
Pardon?
I want a cult.
You want a cult?
If I ever start, it's going to be a cult. It's not going to be a normal.
Everyone's got
Kool-Aid.
We all get tattoos.
Exactly.
It ends like the Waco siege.
I want tramp stamps. My name on this shit. The men. Everyone. But yeah.
That'd be. I'd like to think that, like, I don't know. I'd like to think that if I went to a gym like that again, I'd probably walk away. But I'm so wanted to be liked in life that I'd end up with the Owen Flanagan tramp stamp for the members, and then pay the extra 220 quid a month membership fee.
Yeah, that as well. Just slowly increase it with all your like fanatical cult participants.
So what's Elliot like in the gym? He talks about gym a lot.
I love martial arts.
Like,
Well, Elliot personally, or just like,
just in his levels.
I would say he does better in sparring than drills. So he understands like what to do most of the time in sparring, and then I think he got kneed in the balls super hard. I actually feel like
I think that he's mentioned
that helped your jiu-jitsu.
It has.
Yeah, because after you get an injury like that, you start being super careful and actually clocking what they're doing. Like when you just do jiu-jitsu like once or twice a week, you kind of go to the gym and just scrap. And you don't learn anything really. Like I did that for years until I started actually like learning techniques properly and like applying them. Because you can just go there and just like everyone can wrestle. If you just get 2 5-year-olds, they can wrestle each other. So everyone understands.
That'd be a great gym, by the way. Illegal.
They do that.
Probably find it in Thailand.
Literally, New Wave Academy in Croydon.
Yeah.
Kids classes every day. But yeah, like what was I saying?
Oh, you're talking about my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, so
just watch where he's speaking to, right?
Yeah. So like he does better in sparring, I feel like, because it's more natural and not necessarily in like doing things that you have learned. It's more like instinctive stuff that you have.
He comes alive when it's game time.
Yeah. That's
I wouldn't say that.
Shines under the lights, under the infrared.
I'm a big game player. I'm like Berbatov. Like I smoke outside of it. I'm eating. And I'm fun.
That's what everyone wants to be. I want to be Berbatov. That would be the dream.
I'm the white belt Berbatov. Like that's what I am.
Minimal effort.
Yeah. No, I love training it and I love doing it and I love the discipline that martial arts has given me as a young man. Like when I started training when I started training Muay Thai when I was like 20, 21, that was the best thing I ever did. Like I didn't even realize I was doing it, but that was the best thing I ever did. That's why the one thing, like when Andrew Tate says like, I think young men should get into that, I'm like, oh, he's right on that. Maybe not.
I think he wanted young men to get into a lot of things. Some good, some bad.
That one thing's all right, and then maybe like, let's not, say all this mental shit about women, you weird cunt. But then, but I've always enjoyed like doing your classes because, like I was saying, I've done classes where I'm a beginner. I'm never going to be professional. That's fine by me. I just do it as a hobby. Yeah. I like doing it, which is a perfectly fine place to be. And then I've been to some places where you go in, you don't do something right, and the coach is like, you're shit. And you're like, yeah, I know I'm shit. I don't need you to tell me I'm shit. That's why I'm sorry I can't do this thing that involves twisting my hips in a weird way in an immediate fashion. And then
what kind of class are you going to, man?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. And then you feel it can actually... I used to have that and think like, well, that's how you're meant to be spoken to when doing martial arts because it's meant to be tough. And if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. And when I started coming to like yours and a few other people's classes, I was like, well, I'm not going to fucking put up with that anymore.
I guess it's like different people, they respond to different frequencies. Some people, maybe they do need to be told they're a piece of shit. And then like the daddy issues come out and then that's how they fight.
I wonder that sometimes. I do actually want, like, everyone learns different. You can teach people things in different ways. But I sometimes wonder if like being like just shouting at someone. Shouting works for me.
Really?
If someone shouts at me, I'll work harder.
Really? Yeah, because I'm not one of those people like so it goes into your head when you hear the shouting like, fuck it, I need to fucking show you that I can do this shit.
Oh, I crumble.
Yeah, I crumble too.
I in a tournament, in my first ever tournament, I've been doing it like properly for 6 weeks, but it was after the pandemic and I was like, I just want to compete at something again. And I just went out, I knew it wasn't going to go well. And I just had this like 4-stripe white belt mount me. It was in the gi. And then I was just getting shouted at by a Brazilian instructor. And like, he was just like, do this. And I'm like, I don't know what any of those things are, bro.
I'm going home.
I'm pretty sure he then started on another mat. There was another fight. And he started cornering that guy instead. Because he knew I was essentially like, you fucked, bro.
Just enjoying it now.
Have you ever taken your ball home after football just because you're shit? It's like,
We'll do that.
put a fucking cross in the butt. I'm going home. I'm going to my mum's house.
My dad was there filming and I made him delete the video.
Oh, shit.
I was like, delete that off your phone, Dad. We don't need
No lessons learned, nothing.
Did you see shame in his eyes? Did you see?
It's like, well, you know, he looked really good.
Couldn't look at me.
He looked, you know, he looks like he does it a lot.
Oh, shit.
Like he was telling someone before the fight, that's my son. No, you know, we're related, but you know.
Well, that starts making up that I'm one of those trans athletes. That I'm a woman competing in the men's division just to hide the shame. Oh, he's transitioned and he's keeping it.
His bone density is not.
Proud of you for even stepping up.
The car ride out. That was it, because it was the Brazilian guys I walked off. Our coach, sound guy, he was literally like, oh, you know, bro, he was trying to give me advice. He's like, that takes balls, and I know that's no, it doesn't. It takes stupidity.
Yeah. Like trying really hard and then doing it would be ballsy. Just going there and being like, I'm just gonna make sure I tap before something breaks. Is like,
I didn't tap, to be fair. I lost by 6 points. He just took me down, mounted me.
Yeah, nice.
I just for 6 minutes just flopped around like a fish.
Yeah, that's all right.
So what's been your lowest and highest moments in sort of your journey so far?
Lowest? I don't know. There's not really low points. Low points just waking up super early for training sometimes, or actually being injured is pretty low. Like just having, I don't know, my knee fucked up or something is low. And then high points, just winning competitions and shit, just winning matches, based like standard shit. It's not,
Is the waking up early? Does that get any easier?
No, I don't wake up that early though. That's the whole point.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't have. But if I do have to wake up early, then it's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't go to bed. Like I don't go to. If we went to bed at like 10, whatever, you're fine. But if you go to bed at like a normal time, then you're gonna be fucked in the morning.
Yeah, we have a similar thing within our job, because when I first got speaking to you, like there was also I've always had this with kind of like, it's not on the same level to physically or anything, but when like you speak to athletes or something, like a lot of their job is just traveling. Like that's what a lot of the job is, and that is literally what our job is.
Yeah.
It's just traveling to a place. You get there, you do the thing, and then you fuck off, and you're back at a train station like, what the hell was
nothing
that?
Happened.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, but then I guess like their potential to get fucked up.
No,
There's
way more. But like at the same time though, like you think about the amount of like, have you ever had it like we'll have this thing where we'll walk into a comedy club and your heart will just sink because you know deep down like, oh, this is gonna go fucking appallingly. Like,
It's gonna be shit.
Yeah, just things won't. I've turned up to places and they've not even turned the TV off. So they'll but they turn the sound down. So then there's a group of people who are pissed off. They now can't watch the football with the sound on, and while your gig takes place.
Yeah,
competing with the TV.
Yeah, and
it's not even like a good game. It's like Scottish second division. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and someone's pissed off in the corner that they can't. Yeah. Do you have that with like gyms you go to sometimes?
Sometimes I'll show up and like, let's say it's doing a seminar and like, well, this is before I put like a set price. I was just going off like, oh, we do like £30 per person or something like that, and just like they said a lot of people would show up, and then you go there and it's like, I'm not really making enough money here for this to all be justified, like before it starts as well. As you see, like, shit, like, do I try that less bit hard to teach now? Because potentially they would be getting better service each if it's just like one instructor to like 10 people rather than like 50. Obviously they get better instruction, but I'm like, maybe just work like 5 times less hard. Yeah, that's the only times. Other than that, it's all good. Also, if it's super shit, I'll always try and spar with them as well, so I get something out of it as well. Yeah.
Do you find people try? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, people like the sparring basically, obviously. So yeah, that's it.
Do you find people now like try to beat you on the mat to say that they beat you a lot harder? Is that quite commonplace?
I feel like that was always, people always try and beat you anyway. But yeah, I kind of changed the way I train a little bit, because people are always going to go after you, so I can just basically wait for them to make mistakes a bit more. Also, if they're like, depends who I'm sparring with as well. Like, if I'm sparring with guys that I can't just beat easily, then obviously I'm gonna go after them a bit more. But if it's people that are like let's say white belts, they're very likely to just randomly elbow you and shit in the face, or
which you're not allowed to do.
Yeah, like you're not allowed to do it. Nah, that would be MMA.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can do a lot of horrible stuff, but if you're just striking someone, then it's not really jiu-jitsu anymore. But you can do like borderline shit, which is okay. But I feel like people that are less coordinated are actually more likely to injure you than like people who are really good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, they don't know it.
Yeah, they just like fall over and just like club you in the head or something.
It's like a video game where you're just pressing all the buttons.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Puncher's chance to just fall over and elbow you. They won't sub you, but they'll they'll injure you somehow.
Yeah, I found like a few weeks ago when in one of my first sessions back, like in fact the first session back, I didn't realize how scared I was going to be to go back on the mats. Like, because in my head I was like, I can't wait to train again. And then I got there and I was like, I now realize how dangerous
lost
this
the ball.
is.
Yeah.
I
could lose the other one
again.
Yeah. Oh, if it happened again. And it's I went with this lad who, because I hadn't been there for a few weeks, I thought he'd been training and he said done it for a while, and I just tapped immediately to he grabbed my knee and just started pulling it in every different direction, and I was like, right, get the like this isn't a move, this is just like a dog attacking someone's knee. And I just remember coming back and being like, right, anything. When I now kind of don't want to go with new people, even though I myself would say I'm a new person.
Yeah.
Like,
that's good though. That's how you progress.
You want to be fucked up professionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I always want to have
get CTE, get it right. You know what I mean?
I always want to have a very slow, boring match that nobody would. I'm so fucking bad at it, man. Like, my thing is just lying on top of someone, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's my only.
That works.
If if you can stay there, yeah, that's good. But most of the time, you get tipped over onto your back, or they submit you or something like that. Yeah, that's the goal though.
What do you think of like the rise of MMA, man? When I watched that shit, I'm like, this is too much, man.
Sometimes it's too much. There was a fight the other day, TJ Dillashaw, his shoulder dislocated, and then they kept fighting for like 2 more rounds. And there was a segment there where he was just getting punched in the face for like a good 30 seconds of time, which is like face down, getting punched like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just like, and we were watching it with a group, and they were like, I'm okay if they stop this at this point. And it just kept going and kept going. So times, especially if you're lean and you're watching MMA, you don't have that same like pub aggression that you might otherwise have.
What are the regulations with that shit? Because like sometimes I just see someone on the floor, they just getting elbows. I'm like, that's not good for them or their family later on.
The 12
start
to 6,
beating them up.
They have weird rules like the 12 to 6 elbow rule, which is like insane. So if you bring an elbow down, like basically like from 12 to 6, that's illegal. Okay. The reason that's illegal is because there was videos of people breaking ice with their elbows. So they were like, when they first made like the rules, none of the people making the rules like on the commissions were martial artists. So they saw these videos and were like, this is way too dangerous. But then they were like, oh, overhand elbow, absolutely fine. Like you can like basically. That's just
so 3 to 5 is...
You got started being like, no, that was more 5:30. That was more 5:30. But yeah, it's
are people seeing the effects yet of like sort of the brain damage? Anyone died in the ring MMA?
Not in UFC.
Okay,
but in other divisions and stuff. I think it's the weight cutting that more damages people than I think the weight cuts need looking at that, because I've still never understand that.
Yes, fighting whilst dehydrated is probably what gives you like brain damage and that sort of shit, rather than just being normal. So yeah, I like it. I like the fact that MMA is getting popular. That's good. Yeah. More money for me.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Are you seeing a lot of more people coming in? Just a lot of Daves and Harrys from because they've been watching Conor McGregor and that, and they're like, I want a piece of this.
I don't know where they come from, to be honest. Maybe they come from. I feel like the MMA guys would tend to go to like MMA specific gyms. So some of them are just jiu-jitsu gyms. The MMA guys aren't going to go there because, yeah, it's just not what they want. So yeah, but for me, I feel like just the overall awareness about grappling and like that sort of stuff. Because UFC is basically boxing, which is already popular, plus grappling. So clearly, people who like UFC like grappling, or else they just watch boxing, basically, or kickboxing or something like that. So yeah, I noticed like just more and more people in the gym each time. Like gyms are pretty packed in the like even daytime sessions and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's good. That's key.
That's important.
I find a lot of times it's like the MMA guys are a bit more like sort of like even though they're usually like I say this, I've got to be careful how I phrase this. They're like a bit more like the kind of guys you'd expect to find in a gym, whereas jiu-jitsu guys are a lot more quite nerdy.
Yeah.
In a lot of the time, like they like jiu-jitsu guys will sit around and you think about people talking. It is quite nerdy when you hear people start talking about how they play Spider Guard and they've done this thing and now I've got it. You're like, this is just like you could replace this with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Like, and then the terminology like would make sense. Do you know what I mean? So I find like it is fucking nerdy.
Yeah. It's just about how much you know. So just people with like you get a lot of like legit, you get a lot of like autistic people who do jiu-jitsu and are fucking good because they can just like they can memorize shit really well, or like
you'd kill it, bro.
Yeah, no, I've not been tested. So it's a lot like chess. It's a lot like chess. Oh, he does this, I'm gonna do this. and he might do this, I'll do that and that. I get you.
It's a really fun, like, it's a really fun thing to start learning, because I think it's like it applies to anything in life. Like, you have like real Dunning-Kruger effect with it. There's a Dunning-Kruger effect where when you first start, you're like, or like with anything, like you'll meet like comedians or people who play football or whatever, and then when they first start, they think they've got everything, like they think they're down, and the minute you get like properly into it, you're like, man, this is unmasterable.
Yeah,
like, there will never be anyone who's like it's same with comedy, same with it. There's never going to be anyone who's going to truly perfect this. Whereas with something like snooker, you could probably argue it is ideally perfectible. Like you could always score a 147, or darts. You could get someone who gets to a point always gets 180. It is perfectible. Whereas these kind of things like fascinate me because they aren't. Because a lot of the times it's also kind of subjective. Because like to bring it to philosophy, Jiu-Jitsu is quite philosophical when you look at the people who are like the best coaches in the world. John Danaher was a student at Columbus University studying philosophy.
I think he was a lecturer there.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Who is that?
What do you want to explain?
Yeah, he's like widely regarded as like one of the best coaches in the world, and he coaches the guy who's the best in the world at the moment, Gordon Ryan.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, and Faryal Zahabi as well. He's wrote a book on philosophy.
Yeah.
Who he was GSP's coach.
Yeah.
That's what I like about sports in general, man. Like even the number ones, they need a coach because there's always ways to get better, and it just keeps you humble. I kind of like that attitude.
Yeah, Gordon Ryan seems really like just. It's funny when you watch the way this guy behaves on Instagram, and then when you like watch an interview with him, he just sems like the soundest.
Yeah, he seems normal. Yeah.
Like he seems perfectly fine.
Do you have a coach?
No, I don't have a coach. There's people that actually I have a wrestling coach. Yeah. So yeah, for the stand-up portion of the jiu-jitsu, I go to this guy twice a week and basically get an hour lesson at a time. So yeah, but other than that, I just learn off YouTube and instructionals.
Yeah.
And I've basically done that for a little while now.
Damn.
Yeah. My original coach started taking ayahuasca, so that was kind of
what on the regs.
Yeah. To the point that he wasn't my coach anymore. He was, I guess, wandering the streets. I doubt he'll watch this. Wandering the streets of Rio, and then I had two coaches for a bit after that. But then I went to I had a coach in uni as well. I had a coach there, but then after that I come back and there's no one left to coach me really.
Yeah.
So I just have to do it myself.
I don't think you're supposed to take ayahuasca just like casually.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be like a revelatory one-time thing.
Yeah, it's not
it was.
You can't microdose ayahuasca.
Nah, you have all in, or he's all in, I guess.
He was all in.
Yeah, fair play. So when because you could fight. Do you ever just be sitting on the train to be like, man, I could fight?
I feel like that you're talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect. That's like white to blue belt.
Mm.
Thinking that, but as you get to black belt, you look around like that guy could be like the best boxer in the world. I wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Right.
Or like this guy could be some guy from Dagestan that I just be a savage, and you never know. Like looking at people. So yeah, you stop doing that after a while. Also, you just think like you're not fucking anyone up because someone's gonna stab you. Like realistically, you're gonna get stabbed. It's not like martial art. This isn't.
It's all good, well and good doing this stuff, and then they bring out a gun. You know, gun wins every battle.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair.
Yeah,
even a knife though. I feel like everyone's so happy to just like carry a knife. Well, apparently so happy to carry a knife that it's just like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get slashed, bro. It's not worth it.
So say on like a night out, are you even, I don't know, more cautious, or you just kind of?
I would say I'm more cautious.
Yeah,
because I like most people don't really think that the violence would be that bad, but then like I don't know. You could get fucked up really badly, just getting kicked in the head twice or something like that. Yeah, like you think it's like, I'll get a bruise on my face and like a black eye, but now you got like the C6 like spine.
Yeah, head hits the pavement.
You're also relying on like whoever you're facing to have like an ounce of humanity. Like, do you know what I mean? Like there was this guy, my missus was telling me about him outside of work with a 10-week-old baby in the car, drove down there while high and drunk, rolled the car, like wrote off a load of other cars, and then like got out and was like asking people for like a drink, because that's the thing people do when they crash their cars. If you say like, no, I had a beer afterwards to calm down, you then they can't do you for drink driving. But he did that, and I was just like, what is the thought process of someone like that? Like, what is you're like, all right, I'm taking the kid home. Why don't I just try not get drunk and high for this drive home down a public street. Like, all I've got to do is get the kid home in a car.
And then I can go fuck my life up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just, so, you know, like, in terms of, like, getting into a fight with someone, you don't know, you're just dealing with someone who just doesn't think about the consequences of anything.
Yeah.
And then in that moment, stamps on someone or does something, they could go to prison. They
also, like, coked up people. Yeah. That's going to be, like, you could literally break someone's arm if they're coked up and they probably wouldn't give a shit.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the world's more violent, but then it probably isn't. But I just feel like maybe we just see more because of social media.
Yeah, I feel like we just see more. I've been watching some World War II documentary.
Yeah.
The world was violent.
Yeah. No, it was bad back then. It was bad. We're probably safer than we've ever been.
A brawl outside Spoons has got nothing on Stalingrad, has it?
A lot of lives were lost there.
Hitler on meth, bro. That would be so terrifying in your day-to-day life.
What?
Like, Hitler was on meth all the time, wasn't he?
Was he?
All the Nazis.
Crack and all this shit. Yeah, they were all on. Like,
but then that's even mad because that was like the doctor. Oh, you're depressed. Yeah, here's some meth. Here's some crack. Yeah. You know what I mean, that was the prescription.
I was reading something the other day about in the 1950s, like housewives, because they were just bored all the time. They were all on like Quaaludes and all these other things. They were just like high as a kite all the time. That's why like women in the 50s they were just like all fucked because all they did was the cleaning and the washing, and then there's another like 15 hours of the day to go. There's nothing to do, and they were just popping pills all day long.
Couldn't get a PS3.
God, can you imagine, man? That would have saved so many generations.
There'd be so many, like, the nuclear family would be all right. Like, everything would have been okay if we just gave women in the 50s a PlayStation.
Just a Nintendo 64 or something. If they were just working on that technology a bit earlier, man, we could have saved so much fucking heartbreak.
Well, yeah, I've had like learning it, like coming to the gym and learning it and stuff. Like, I find like has definitely been the thing in my life that I'd say is, you know, I'd recommend it to everybody. But it doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu or anything like that. Like, I know people get into golf or fucking, you know, even if it is like World of Warcraft or something, just don't let that eat up your entire life, because I think that's easy to do.
Unless you're making money off of it. Kids are making money off the Twitch now. So
Fortnite, man, people make millions off that game.
Yeah, man. So listen, just find your thing and keep doing your thing and make some money off it.
But do you find when your thing becomes like, so when that, you know, that point where you go like, wow, I really want to make like a profession out of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And then you finally get there. Do you ever like look back and be like, oh, I long for the days where I just wanted to do this a little bit? And now sometimes do you ever get to that point? Because I have it with comedy where you're like,
it's more like the drinking and shit. I used to like drinking like pretty heavily.
Right.
But like, as you just drink more, I feel like the hangovers get worse. So I'm past the point that it's worth it most of the time. And just can't it takes me ages to recover. So I used to like drinking, but now I can't really do that anymore because it's not worth my like next week or two of just feeling shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the one. But other than that, like I try and do it as casually as possible whilst also training as much as I actually want to. So yeah, it helps. I don't know. It helps, like, I don't really take breaks. I kind of just do it consistently throughout the year. I try not to take like rest days and that sort of stuff. And I feel like it just becomes an easy part of your life then, something that you can count on, that you enjoy every single day.
Yeah, you said something to me that I like started. You said it to me one time, and I just sort of applied it to comedy a little bit, which was like, don't work extra hard, just work hard. Like, you never have to work extra hard then, because you've just always done something.
You don't have to cram
if
you were just always consistently doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Because I always think about that about like athletes. Like, there's no thing with that with comedy that you could do. Like, you can't go, unless you're like Chappelle or someone, you can't go do like 3 hours training a day. Like, it doesn't exist 3 hours on stage. Doesn't exist.
It's different as well, because we're, as creatives, you can't force pieces of work to appear. Do you know what I mean? I guess in the gym you can just like work away at a set routine till you get it right. But creatively, I mean, you can, and it does benefit you to just kind of sit at a page and try and work something out, but it's no guarantee you're going to have something at the end. Well, I guess maybe in when you're training, there is more of a guarantee.
It's like plateaus. You go up for a bit, you feel super good, and then like for a long time, you'll just be like, I'm sorry, I'm not really getting any better. But I feel like those are the times, if you can learn to enjoy that bit, like the process, if you can learn to enjoy like the bit where you don't reckon that you're clearly making daily improvements, if that's still good to you, then that's probably what you should do as your job. But yeah, you definitely get bits in jiu-jitsu where you're just like, I'm not really getting better here. I'm just doing it, just running through the motions. As long as you can avoid that, I feel like it's good.
How do you spot talent? Like, do you see someone like, man, they got it?
Just they learn quickly. Like you show them something and then they can just do it basically instantly. Also, I feel like people who are smaller tend to just be more like mobile, like agile, and like half of the jiu-jitsu moves you just need to tense your abs really fucking hard. So most people can't even do like not excessively hard, but just to the point that you might be able to do this motion like 2-3 times, but if it's like an hour of sparring, you've got to do that like 100 times. You're not realistically going to use that move.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just try to tense my abs right now just for myself. And I couldn't do it. For 2 seconds, I'm like, fuck this shit. I gave up.
Yeah,
So,
that's tiring.
Yeah, I did like I said, I find it like just as someone who's like does it as a hobby. It's weird when you're in there and then you see people like come in who like really want to be serious with it. And like, do you find there's a lot of people that like who come in and they put on a face that they want to be serious with it, and they're like, I do this, this, and this, but you can just see through it.
Yeah, it's like consistency. Most people aren't. If you were consistent, you wouldn't be that excited about going to training. You'd be like, fuck, here we go again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But people who are like really gassed about going to training, it's like, okay, you're training maybe like a couple times a week, or like you're in the early phase where you're gonna blow out and basically quit after like a couple years. Yeah. I see that so much. People get so gassed and then they do it all the time.
I ain't gonna lie, a couple years ain't even bad. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But then when you quit, like after another couple years, you're back to zero.
Yeah.
And then Pubman can beat you if he's on point.
I think that about so many things in my life, man. If I just didn't stop,
if
I just kept going, where could I be? Oh well. You know,
you're doing all right, man. That sounded quite depressing.
No, just like,
I gotta took you up a little. What else did you want to do?
I could drive by now, probably.
Oh yeah, that is for all this talk on this podcast of like, you know, all people the same age who've been doing like comedy for years, jiu-jitsu for years. None of us have a driver's license.
Driving license. I have a provisional though.
I lost mine the other week.
We all have a provisional.
You paid 30 quid. That's just saying you can afford £30.
I thought it was bigger than it was at the
time. You did paperwork.
I'm proud of it. It took me a long time.
Lucas, do you have a driver's license?
Yeah, I got provisional, yeah.
Oh, okay, we've all got provisional.
You got a provisional?
Yeah, no, but I lost my wallet the other week, so I don't even have a provisional anymore.
Okay, so you're at the bottom, you're at 0. Yeah, man, there's so many things, man. I just, like, even with the boxing, man, I was going, like you said, for about 2 years, and I just got a point where I was like, and I just stopped, and now I'm kind of feeling guilty again. It's been like 6-7 months. It's like, man, I could be Mayweather. If I just,
I'm sure your coach. That's why your coach was depressed. He was like, "Where's my Mayweather gone? Why's my Mayweather not come back in the gym? This guy was sent up for 2 years."
I stopped going. I got knocked out by a 14-year-old.
Really?
He just kind of. I didn't get knocked out, but he kind of knocked me off my footing. And then I remember before we started sparring, coach says, "Take it easy," and we both went, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Oh wait, you talked to him?"
Oh shit! Was that the last session you went to?
That was like one of the last times I went.
Oh shit!
I like boxing until I got actually punched for real, and I was like, "Oh shit, this is some real shit here." Oh,
horrible, yeah,
this is actually hurts.
Yeah, I've seen before, like people just thrown into sparring, not a new wave or any, but like I went to some places where people have been thrown in. And it's like they've just got to the point where they're allowed to spar, and someone just turns up and just there's no, "Oh, you're new here." It's just straight like bang them up and just light them up.
Also, we had a couple coaches at my gym. They used to put the camera in. They were just getting their own videos. they were just putting people together. Like, look at what like. This is not shouldn't help me happening. Yeah,
that's fair. I record my roles now and look through them and see like it's like you know when you watch yourself back do a set.
Yeah.
And you're like, I fucking hate everything about that. It's like that, but it's necessary. Like when you listen back to gigs, that happens all the time.
Yeah. I always feel like that watching. If I watch the rounds, that I don't record the rounds because I just can't be fucked setting up the camera. But a lot of the time people do, and I'll get off them, and bro, it's depressing. Like even if you think it was sick, even if it looks all right, you get bored of it quick.
Oh,
yeah, but then that's even better because you're like number 5, and then you're like, I got so much room for improvement. I mean, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess, but
you don't want to be like, man, this is the best I got.
It looked sick, and you still thought there was room for that would mean that you're sick beyond what you're capable of. But I'm looking at it, and it's like, it looks a bit dry, and plus, like, I don't know. It's not dry necessarily, but it looks dry. I'd rather it just look sick. And
Yeah.
So do you have any ambitions sort of like, I'm going to take it up a level, or you just don't want that? All that comes there with it.
Bit, so the world championships every 2 years, right? And so for the next one coming up, I feel like I'm gonna cut down the amount of travel I do. So that's been the main problem with my training the last couple of years. Is I spend like 5-6 hours a day traveling, like two from, and then 2 from. That could literally be 6 hours in a day, and then weekends going to, fuck knows where and teaching a seminar. That's more travel. So as much as I can cut down the travel, I'll be able to like just have more energy and train more, and that's the key. And then next year. Because really, like, I don't necessarily need that much money to like enjoy my life. Like, I don't know how much you need. I don't need like a super yacht or whatever. So as long as I have enough and I can train and be healthy and shit, that's good for me. And then if you like win competitions on the side, it's more rewarding. And
I like your attitude in life, man. It's very sort of stoic. Elliot was saying you got a stoic thing.
Stoic attitude towards it.
Focus on what's in your control. Just need the basics. I mean,
it's interesting because I find it like what I find really impressive about it as well is not just all these achievements, but like at 26 you can command a room full of adults that's going to have everything from like your nerd to your wannabe alpha male to that, and like sort of command it to go like, right guys, you got to give me the respect now to like speak and show you this thing, and like everyone does. That must have been quite a hard skill to learn.
Maybe I probably started small. Like when I first did it, when I first taught it was like kids and shit like that. So you just got, and then adults. I feel like if you do the moves yourself and you actually feel like they do work, like if I'm teaching bullshit moves, I wouldn't.
I would lose the 40, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 'cause soon someone would ask you like, oh, what if they do this? And you'd be like, shut the fuck up. Like you can't really do that. But yeah, if someone asks a question and I know the move, then I can answer the question.
Yeah. It's like that 14-year-old. If he was to teach the class, I'd be like, who's this guy? But then when he knocked me out, I was like, I can learn from this kid. You know what I mean? They show you and then you learn from them.
Sometimes you gotta do it, like go through the class and just spar with everyone. And like especially people that just join, sometimes they just won't listen to shit you're saying. I'm like, they don't really get it. Like I'll put them with someone, maybe they survived the round. Like I put them with a mat enforcer, they survived the round, and then I have to spar with them. And then sometimes they fully change and they're like nice people.
Just humble. Explain what a mat enforcer is. It's good for
a mat enforcer.
For those who don't understand what a mat, for Lucas, he didn't
a mat enforcer is someone like, let's say you're at a gym and there's always like people that visit and stuff. You have your guy at the gym who's like the guy at the gym who and so for example that 14-year-old there might have been the mat enforcer. So when people come and visit, he's the one. And if they're smoking everyone, because it's not like boxing where they might just give you one sparring partner and you just spar with him. You spar with everyone in the room. And if this guy's like fucking people up or being extra like brutal or like someone who's lighter than them and they're just fucking them up, then you get the mat enforcer involved and they crush them to check the ego.
Have you ever seen the mat enforcer that be done and then the mat enforcer themselves gets fucked up and you're like, oh shit, now I've got to go?
yeah, but those are gyms where it's like he's not a mat enforcer.
You're
all gonna get fucked if anyone shows up.
That's
like that said though, like if some people visited, I wouldn't even be a mat enforcer. Like I'm sure there's lots of people in America who'd visit and like I'd have to enforce the mat, but I couldn't enforce the mat, and then it's all like, show us some moves, bro.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. Can we go back to the world exclusive you dropped earlier about there's people juicing? This is a world exclusive. People taking juice in the world of grappling, Jiu Jitsu.
I think in every sport they are.
Okay, this is unconfirmed. Why is? Elliot was telling me like there's not really drug testing.
Nah, there's no testing. That's it. It's almost encouraged.
Really?
Like, yeah, well, it's encouraged by coaches who would juice themselves, obviously. Like, I know people that have encouraged their students to take juice and all this sort of stuff.
For like big competitions or just like grappling?
Just in general, like the point of juice is not that you get strong for a competition, it's so that you're on it consistently and you can train 3 or 4 times a day.
Oh, okay.
And you can just become really good and technical.
So you'd have to be looking to be serious at it to do it at that point anyway.
Yeah, because they get you, but the thing is, they don't get you when you're like 20 and be like, all right, you got to get on the juice. Like they might, that's maybe in range, but it's more like you're 13, you get on the juice.
13?
And by the time you get...
13, did you say?
Yeah,
I thought you said 30.
No.
Fucking
like,
that kid who knocked me out was on the juice, bro.
He could have been on the juice because they're probably not testing a 14-year-old, so... they give him the juice, make him really good, and by the time he's 20 and he's like on the pro scene, he's had like 6 years of juice or something. They did that.
So for those who don't know, what does the juice do to enhance you?
So it'll be like, it depends what it does, right? It's just performance enhancing drugs. Like coffee is like a PED technically, but it's allowed, and like creatine is allowed. But then get to things like growth hormone and like, I don't know, like taking loads of testosterone, then you can just recover quicker between sessions, and like the quality of each session is going to be like 5% better because you're fresh or whatever, and you can maybe train like more times a day. So yeah, you just end up technically better. So even if they do testing for the competition, you can just take a day off or whatever. Just, I don't know, just not juice for whatever the time before.
So let's say you got a young 14-year-old little what's the word? What's the mentor? Prodigy, and you're like, this kid's got potential. Yeah. How would you ethically get into the philosophy? How would you ethically try and tell him not to juice when he's going up against other juice kids?
You just take the piss out of juicers.
Really?
That's it. Well, yeah, they can make up. You can juice if he wants, but you're a fucking retard if you do.
Really?
Yeah, you shouldn't.
But you'd send him out there against juiced up kids with no juice in them.
Well, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah.
You're arguing for the juice. You want the juice. You want this little Wolverine kid out there, man.
You have a derelict of duty to juice him to make sure you don't get fucked up.
The thing is, as well, people that do juice, they just let their shit pop because they know that it'll heal back much quicker.
Right.
Like, so it's not even fair. They'll just let it break, and it's like, well, we just carry on then because it's gonna cure in 2 weeks, whereas for a normal person it might take longer. Yeah, for a child like that, I don't know. I just say like, look at all the older guys who were juicing when they're younger. They all look fucked. They look like they spent their life in the pub, and the ones who haven't like, actually look normal for their age.
You'd rather be a clean loser than a juiced up winner.
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, but if it's so black and white, then I don't know, a loser across like all things, or
I guess you got to remember, like, why did I get into this?
Yeah.
Depends what you consider winning as well.
Yeah.
Your win might be different to someone else's. Like, some kid who's been brought up in like some horrible favela somewhere, he probably needs the win more than me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already.
He needs to take that trophy back to the hut. Like,
there's benefits.
Back to his Call of Duty map of a home.
That's a sick match.
It was the best map, weren't it, for Bella? But imagine where you live got put on Call of Duty. You'd be so fucking like, all right, we need to move.
Imagine trying to sell that house.
The estate agent put a picture from the COD game
and the buyer's like, I recognise this place, man.
I got an attack helicopter in this guy's house once.
I respawned here. What the fuck?
But yeah, I think because I had that. I've never done the stories, but like it's so common on fucking TikTok and everything now. Just like with the way that like the way that like training stuff's done now, where it's all very clip based.
Yeah.
Like so much of the stuff that I see is just like, and just go take steroids. That's the magical cure for it.
What? So who says that?
Oh, like in my TikTok algorithm, like.
Oh, shit.
I don't mind that in terms of just like body image, body consciousness. Someone's being honest, like, hey man, I got here.
But it's not like.
By juicing.
Yeah.
In terms of like, because we see a lot of these superheroes, right? And then the guys who play superheroes, and they'll be on the cover of the GQ magazine, Men's Health, and they'll be like, yeah man, I just worked out 6 days a week. It's like, you probably took something though. And if you be honest, a lot of young men will be like, why am I killing myself trying to look like that when I know I need the juice to do it?
They would have had like so much. They'd have had personal trainers. They'd have had this as well, a dietitian, a chef, as well as like.
But the juicing.
And then they would have got their blood works done and everything, and they would have then like had everything like be done to a T, rather than like, hey, you know that guy who's deadlifting like a big amount in your gym, and just buy testosterone off of him, or he'll know someone in fucking Streatham or something. They make it in a bathtub. Like it is,
It's kind of risky as well. I feel like you get super ill if you take juice wrong.
Really?
Like, it's coming off of it is risky, and then like, you got to constantly get like blood checks apparently, because all your diseases will be juiced up as well.
Also, if you work at T-Mobile,
oh shit! Like you could create Tren AIDS. Some Tren AIDS is coming through.
If you're taking growth hormone, you get like a little cancer or something. Apparently, people get cancer all the time, right, in their body, and then it goes away. But
I didn't know that. That's a new anxiety.
Now you do. But if you're taking growth hormone or something, you better go get your blood checked, because like you got no cancer, and then suddenly it's some beast cancer in 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. Like I said, if you work at T-Mobile, why are you juicing? You know what I mean? There's people out there who maybe should be juicing. If you just work a regular job, why just follow the process. Trust the process of working out.
Comes down to body image stuff and masculine, and there's going to be like people, I guess, who will. Me and a friend of mine, like another comedian who does jiu-jitsu, were laughing about it the other day, like joking about, like, imagine getting on, like, if we just started running gear to come fourth in a competition in like a regional that I've paid 50 quid to enter.
People fucking do that all the time.
Grow the fuck up if they do. Like,
it's not necessarily for it, but
you paid 60 quid to enter.
It's the lifestyle.
Yo, you see that video? Tom Hardy just going undercover and fighting in, was he BJJ?
Yeah.
He's good with that shit.
Yeah, he's a force strike. But like I was doing Victoria's podcast, I was saying, like, it's really good that he's doing it, but it's also like we have this thing where, like, I don't know if it's like Gracie Barra or whatever, whoever it is, has like a thing like jiu-jitsu for everyone, and you're like, it's not really for it. It's an expensive hobby, like, and it's expensive to get the training done and all this. Like, so
all you need is grass and an opponent.
Nah, speak on grass.
Yeah.
Oh, all you need is a mat and an opponent.
Yeah, mat. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, Tom Hardy, like, obviously it's a good for him. He's going to be able to do the weight training, all the eating, the dieting, and as well as probably book those extra sessions to go in and get everything done.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able. He's going to be able to progress quicker than Bradley, who's just, works at Quick Fit and goes down and trains a few times a week. And also, like, why can't Tom Hardy just let people have hobbyist jiu-jitsu? Like, why has he got to come in and fucking...
entering that competition, your families come to watch. And I think this is my day.
Baines stood across from you.
It's really unnecessary, actually, yeah.
Couldn't he just be the multi-millionaire, good-looking guy? Like,
Idris Elba did something similar. He did some sort of kickboxing competition.
I bet it was rigged though.
Mark Zuckerberg does it as well.
He looks all right at it on his little.
Jiu-jitsu?
At his at MMA.
Yeah,
he was throwing
nerd.
Yeah, he's like mad into it, isn't he? Like,
he's not a real human. Now I watch a video of him. He's doesn't got the facial expressions or that match a real human.
Nah, he's got to have the sociopath to be at that level. Like Elon Musk buying Twitter, innit? Like,
for Bants, Elon Musk spent 44 billion on Twitter.
Yeah.
Just making me like, I own Twitter.
There's someone who'd be good at, whose autism would make him good at jiu-jitsu. I bet Elon Musk would fucking be able.
Yeah, probably.
He's
probably got a good memory.
Yeah, everyone, like, I find it online that everyone like does this thing where they're like, oh, you got to be kind and stuff and all of this, and like Elon Musk, like, I've watched like interviews with him. He's clearly just super autistic, innit? Like, he's genius, but he like
doesn't make it easy to be nice to him.
I know. But then they start like, because he brought like a sink into their Twitter HQ, and it was like, oh, he's like, let that sink in, and she's like, it's kind of a shit joke, innit? But
harmless.
He made it.
But he's done it, and he's also like, and everyone's like, this guy wants to be funny so bad, and you're like, I thought we were meant to be nice to like.
So if I spent 44 billion, it's like, let me make the shit joke I want to make.
Exactly.
It's my building, it's my company, innit?
Ban people who don't like you.
Yeah.
But that's why he's bought it, innit? To be like, he's gonna make like this free speech platform that's gonna.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
And like, as soon as he made it, like, racism went up by like thousands of percent. Like,
well, I don't understand, like. So, like, yeah, apparently the N-word and shit went up like 500%.
100% of that was just me.
My time. Let me release my drafts. Yeah. But they didn't even change the regulations like that for it. It's what people were just saying it anyway, just to test the waters.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. But you got your own podcast, don't you?
Yeah, I do a podcast with my S&C guy, Charles.
Your SSC?
S&C, strength and conditioning.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Charles, yeah. Like, basically just talking about jiu-jitsu and strength and conditioning and stuff like that.
Was it good?
The Charles Eoghan experience.
Okay.
It's a very good podcast.
Yeah.
If I know we've got a few people in this who are like into martial arts and stuff, definitely go check it out. It's gonna be quite big, that podcast, I think, because you guys have like cornered that market well.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be good in jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of jiu-jitsu podcasts, so let's see. But I feel like we can get some good
If Elliot
on.
goes up a belt, are you gonna have him on?
I would never be on that. I would have nothing to add of any relevance.
We can have loads of people on. We're getting Elon Musk eventually. We're getting Elon Musk.
Not even a no. Like, there's so many more.
We're getting Elon Musk first.
Okay.
He's gonna work his way through ELs.
Okay, before we go, I had another question. What do you think about the Jake Pauls and the Logan Pauls of this world jumping into the fighting world?
Like, I don't know. With each fight that happens and they win, like, he beat Anderson Silva, and everyone's saying
47-year-old, but still can throw down.
Yeah, but like he's not a professional boxer, is he? It's Jake Paul, right? Yeah, Logan like was or something a professional boxer or something, was he? I don't know.
He was a high school wrestler and apparently quite a good one.
Okay, yeah, is that it?
He's got a build. He's had a natural build of a.
But yeah, they picked up boxing like not long ago, and they're obviously training like day in day out, and they're training fucking hard. Like they might be juicy as well. That's the kind of thing that would definitely.
Do you think it's good for the sport? Is it? I think it's bringing new eyes.
In a way, it will, yeah, because it's gonna highlight some of the failures of like how the money is made and all that kind of stuff. But equally, it might give some of the if they were doing jiu-jitsu, like maybe they'd like call someone like me out, and then you can make a shitload of money off like even losing to them. Who gives a fuck? You made loads of money, so
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but so if someone like some YouTubers came into your world, and then they started like blowing up, taking big fights, you wouldn't be like, huh, what's going on here? Or you'd be like, oh, an opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you can't hate it. Like he's actually winning though. He's winning.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
fair.
He keeps winning. Like if he keeps winning, you just can't say anything. It's what like when he loses, then he's gonna lose really badly.
Yeah.
The equivalent would be though is if someone came into the jiu-jitsu world and then started calling out like Ricky Hatton. Like it's not like he's calling out. Like I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Like, but like it is. Anderson Silva as well, like after every one of his last UFC fights, everyone stands there with a mic waiting for him to announce he was retiring. And he's like, I'll be back stronger. And everyone's like, no, Anderson, like
You've done your time.
you don't need to do this
I've got
anymore.
to wrap up now.
All right, man. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this, man.
Really appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was good fun.
Thank you, man. And again, sign up to the Patreon and like the YouTube, leave a comment and all of that stuff.
Yeah, Patreon, man, is growing. We have so, be part of the joining it. Yeah.
There's been B-Tech Philosophers. Follow Owen on, where can people find you on Instagram and Twitter and stuff?
Gotta spell it at EOGHANOFLANAGAN. That's it, Instagram.
We might have to put that link in. There's been B-Tech Philosophers. See you next time, everybody.